Cheating is still a huge problem in Siege right now, which means I still can't record any gameplay to give you. So instead, I'll be talking about the 12 best operators that you need to counter the cheaters so that maybe you can make a video when I can't. Now, the first operator, and probably the most obvious one on this list, is going to be Clash. Clash is great, obviously, because you have a shield that you're able to swing off of. So if they're wall hacking, you can easily just win the 1v1 fight if you're good at holding pixel angles or good at swinging people and clicking their heads. If they're rage cheating as well, typically they will be sprinting at you, so being able to slow them down with a Clash shield is a great thing that you can do. And then the best part about it is if you leave your shield down, your teammates can also swing off of it even if you're dead, meaning that she'll get value for her team and herself. You pair that up with the mini F2 that she brings as well, and Clash is a great counter for any cheaters you go against. Now, the next offender that I want to talk about is actually Capcan. Now, Capcan used to not be a good workaround for cheats because one of the biggest cheat providers in Siege ever actually had wall hacks that showed you where traps were. But now they no longer make cheats for Siege, and it's very unlikely that any other big cheat providers have any wall hacks for gadgets. So Capcan does work against people who are wall hacking now, and probably will for the foreseeable future. Not only do you have the ability to do damage to people with Capcan traps, but of course you can kill them as well. Now with the new gas pipes in the game too, if you put one Capcan trap on a gas pipe and they walk past it, the gas pipe will instantly explode along with the Capcan trap, which is an instant kill. This means you can effectively spread out more Capcan traps more effectively everywhere, instead of only having 2 doorways that you can put Capcan traps on that can get kills. You now can get 2 by putting 2 Capcan traps on 2 different doorways, and then you can get a 3rd one by putting your last Capcan trap on a gas pipe. Or you can put 5 Capcan traps down next to 5 gas pipes and get 5 doorways that you can get kills on. It's pretty much up to you what you want to do. But with wall hacks not being able to see gadgets anymore, and with Capcan traps having the new addition of gas pipes, Capcan has become really strong against cheaters. Now, that's enough about defending operators for now. Let's go over attackers that you should be playing if you want to counter cheaters. And the first one might not be that obvious, but if you're ever going against a blatant cheater who's just running out of the building, trying to spawn peek you, trying to run out even if they have like aimbot and stuff, like crazy people that are obviously just going full blatant, a great counter is actually Nomad. Now this works especially well, again, if they're going full blatant, because if they are, they're going to be running to your spawn and they're going to be running out of the building the second that the prep phase is over. And if you simply just sit in spawn, or you sit in a place with only 1 entrance and 1 exit, you can put air jabs on the entrance and exit of where you're talking about, and then if they try to come to you, they will immediately get air jabbed and you can shoot them. A great example is Tunnel on Bank. If you're in Tunnel on Bank, you air jab the entrance to the building, you air jab the ladder that brings people down, and then you literally just sit, wait for them to hit an air jab, and you kill them immediately. It's a really, really good way to counter cheaters, especially rage cheaters that are aimbotting, spin botting, speed hacking, whatever it may be. Another attacker that's great at countering blatant cheaters and even closeted cheaters is the next attacker on this list, which is Osa. Now, when I'm duo queued with people going against rage cheaters, I'll usually run Nomad and Osa at the same exact time. That way, when they're swinging me, and there's that little half second of delay before the air jab actually activates, they won't immediately insta-lock on my head and kill me, because I'm behind an Osa shield, which makes it to where I can then swing off the Osa shield once they're already air jabbed, and it's safe for me to swing. But even if you're not using Osa with Nomad, if you're going against somebody who's not even rage cheating, they're just simply like wall hacking, right? You're essentially doing the same thing on attack that you're doing on defense with Clash. You're just giving yourself the ability to see them and swing them, kind of like how they have the ability to see you through a wall and swing you. You're evening out the playing field, making it to where it doesn't even matter if they have wall hacks, because if they swing you, they're swinging into you while you're on a shield, and you're probably going to win the gunfight. The reason that this works so well and why other shield operators work so well against countering cheaters is because cheaters are bad. They wouldn't be using cheats if they weren't bad at the game, which means usually they have a worse reaction time to you and they don't know how to hold angles properly. So when you're behind a shield, if you're being really unpredictable with how you're swinging off of the shield, they won't be able to react in time, especially because of latency due to servers. Which means if you're swinging off of a shield or any surface onto them, you will probably win that gunfight if your aim isn't terrible. Speaking of shields though, I can't talk about great shield counters without talking obviously about Monty. Monty's good because your teammates can swing off of you and you can walk into them even if they're rage cheating and they still can't kill you. A lot of these cheaters, again, are bad at the game. They don't have game sense, so they don't know that they have melee priority over you, which means you can get away with just sitting behind a corner and then swinging the corner and meleeing them before they have time to react, which can get you a free down and you can eventually shoot them. This actually works a lot, at least in my ranked games, because again, they don't know how shields work because they're fucking cheating. Obviously, they don't really know anything about the game. Why else would they be cheating? So you get a lot of free melee kills with this. Now, obviously, if we're talking about shield operators, the next operator on this list is going to be Blitz. Blitz is pretty good because for some reason, there are a certain amount of wall hacking companies that sell cheats where if they get blinded in game, their wall hack box goes away when they're blind. I know that's not the case with all cheats, but there are some cheats where that for some reason is the case. So sometimes Blitz can work against people who have wall hacks like that. A lot of the time too, if you don't call them out in chat for cheating, they're gonna closet their wall hacks, right? So if you blind them, they're not going to immediately shoot your head off when they're blind. Otherwise, that would reveal that they're cheating. So sometimes they'll just miss on purpose and you can get a free kill out of it. Again, these people are like terrible at the game because they're cheating, right? So instead of trying to melee you when you blind them, which is what they should be doing, they will probably try to shoot you. So when they're shooting you, when they're blind, even if they are pre-firing exactly where your head is, like they don't care if they're blind or not, you can just melee them to the ground and shoot them anyways. So it's a pretty easy counter regardless. Now, obviously, we went over the two other shields. Let's go over the final one, and that is going to be Blackbeard. Blackbeard's good because their wall hack boxes don't show whenever you're ADS'd as Blackbeard and whenever you're not ADS'd, and because they're so bad at the game, they don't hear the sound cue or notice it anyways. So you can kind of jiggle peek corners or hold really tight pixels with Blackbeard, and even if they're walling, they're not going to be able to pre-fire a tight pixel, and they're not going to be able to know if you're ADS or not. So you can kind of trick them, play mind games with them, and just shoot them directly in the face. Now, again, we've been going over nothing but attackers, so let's move back to the defense to talk about some great defenders that you can use to counter cheaters. And one of those is going to be Frost, pretty much for the same reason as Cap can. If they're cheating, they're bad at the game, they're not going to be pre-firing windows, and they don't have the ability to see traps with wall hacks anymore. So you can catch people off guard with Frost. You also have a deployable shield that you can swing off of, and just like we talked about with all the shields, being behind a shield countering wall hackers is really nice because they're bad, and you have peeker's advantage most of the time. Also, having an ACOG on defense is nice because you can hold really tight pixel angles, and even if they're cheating, it's going to be really hard for them to pre-fire you off pixel angles. But you have an ACOG you can use for the pixel angles, so you get an even bigger advantage when you're going against the cheater. Now, the next counter I'll be talking about is Valkyrie. The reason Valkyrie is good is because if they have info on you, you might as well have info on them and even at the playing field a little bit. But specifically, you can get below C4 kills on them. Yes, if they're walling, they'll see that you're below them. But again, these people are actual idiots, so they're not going to know that you're below for a C4. And as long as you don't get caught in the prep phase being a Valkyrie, again, they can't see gadgets, so it's not like they're going to be able to see your Valkyrie cameras. They're not going to be able to see the nitro in your hand. All they're going to see is that there's a guy below them. And again, if they don't know that you're Valkyrie, they're not going to know that you're doing a below C4. And you can get a lot of free kills onto the cheater if you do that. This goes for pretty much any camera operator in the game, like Echo, for example. You can stun somebody that's cheating and then shoot them. You can use Maestro to just deny plants if you want to literally just sit off-site and zap them with your cameras. But I think a really underrated defender when it comes to countering cheaters, a lot of people don't think about, is actually Azami. Again, swinging off of a shield is good, and Azami pretty much brings 5 deployable shields that she can put down. But that's not actually the main reason. I think the main reason that Azami is so good is if you create these really tight Azami pixel peaks, even if they have wall hacks on you and they know where you are, it's still really hard to pre-fire pixel angles like that, right? Especially with Azami, because she can make these crazy pixels by just putting one Azami at the top, one Azami at the bottom, and you just can't pre-fire. That doesn't matter if you have wall hack. You will get killed by an Azami player that's good, especially if you're cheating. Moving it back to the attack, though, I want to go over somebody that is actually pretty underutilized when going against wall hackers specifically, and that's Deimos. Deimos literally just gives you wall hacks onto somebody on attack, so if they're walling, now you're walling, and because they're walling, they probably have bad aim. Why else would they be walling? So now you're just going to win the gunfight, pretty much. Like, it's that easy. If you're trusting in your aim, Deimos is a great pick against cheaters. Then the final operator on attack, and actually the final operator for today's video, is going to be Grim. Grim I'm putting in this video for almost the exact same reason that I put Deimos, and that is if they have info on you, you want to get info on them. You can shoot your Grimbees at them after droning them out, so you have a continuous red ping on them so that you can know where they are, safely enter the building, and then just pre-fire them. Because you have 5 bees as well, you can save all of your bees to just track them, and then you're completely set to just kill the motherfucker if you have good aim. Now, some honorable mentions before I go. First of all is going to be Brava. Brava is good if they have like cap can, and then you can hack the cap cans and kill the cheater, but that's really the only way that you can use Brava to kill cheaters. Maybe other than like bringing Brava for Maestro, I don't really know. Lion's also a good honorable mention because you're able to scan them after you drone them, and then if they don't move, you still know where they are because you just droned them, and if they do move, you get red pings on them and you can just shoot them for free. Another honorable mention is anybody that brings a shotgun. If you just play close with a shotgun, when you hear them close to you on the door, it doesn't matter if they have wall hacks and they're pre-firing you. Because of how the Peeker's advantage works, you can just always get the first shot off anyways to be able to shotgun them, and as long as you get the 1 pump kill, you're gonna win that gunfight every single time. But that's pretty much it for today's video. I know this was a short one. I have been busy uploading daily on my Alka live channel, which is why I haven't been putting a lot of effort into these videos. Especially because cheaters are kind of just ruining the game right now. I haven't even played the game in like a week. But I'm still streaming every single day on Twitch if you want to check out my variety content. So come join the Alcatraz community, and until then, I'll see you in the next video.